right, continue with today's thought, and today's thought is going to be a kind of an oh my God moment. You already know what that moment is just by reading the title to today's thought, but I was actually editing the video for today, and I had to throw it all into the digital wastebasket and start all over because what just came in, it was just supposed to be one of my standard polling updates. I do them occasionally, and I was going to put up the table from Real Clear Politics. They list all the most recent polls, say like the last 10, 11 most recent polls, and they compute an average, and it was showing Trump leading in almost every one of them. The most recent one was a tie, and the one before that, or you go down a couple of days, Biden leading by 1, and Trump leading in all the others, except if you go all the way back to November 8th to November 11th, the Rasmussen poll, Biden leading by 4. That was the farthest. That's what I was talking about in the video that I had to throw away, showing Biden ahead by 4 points, is only really significant lead. And I was going to say what's so interesting about or important about the Rasmussen poll is, unlike all these other polls, one of them is all adults, the other ones are registered voters, but the one that Rasmussen does, that's all likely voters, and it's likely voters, people who have a history in voting in every or almost every election, which would be me, by the way. So I'm a likely voter, and they would be generally, as I was just talking about, 4-point lead for Biden, generally more favorable to the Democrat than to the Republican this election cycle, more favorable to Biden than to Trump. In fact, in the approval ratings, you have, in other polls, you have Biden as low as, I think, the low 30s or mid 30s, and in Rasmussen, there was one time Biden dropped down to 36, but only for one day, and then right back up again. And usually he's in the mid 40s, 44 to say 46. Sometimes he's gone up to like 49, and he would go down sometimes to 40, but whenever he would hit 40, it would be one day he bounces right up. So generally more favorable to Biden does better in the Rasmussen poll of likely voters than in all the other polls, but this just came up. This is the new table. As I said, I had to throw the other one away, but look at that Rasmussen poll. It has Trump ahead by 10 points. 10-point Trump lead in the Rasmussen poll. That's an earthquake, if that's anything. And Rasmussen is one of the more accurate polls. But if anything like that is, never mind outside the margin of error. Now, there was a poll way back in the Washington Post, which is definitely more favorable to Democrats, and it gave Trump a 10-point lead in that one poll, and it was considered an outlier. People were claiming, well, the Democrats, obviously, the Biden campaign said that, well, that's just an outlier, and it turned out to be, because no other poll showed that until now. And the Washington Post poll, I'm pretty sure, was not likely voters, but now we see this poll, and it's a question of whether this is another outlier. But the thing you have to remember also about the Rasmussen poll, it's not a one-day poll. What they do is they do what's called a moving average. They'll compute the most recent, today and 2 day, well, this would be yesterday, the most recent day, and then 2 days before that for a 3-day average. So you don't get these spikes up and down from daily changes. So if you have a 3-day average showing a 10-point lead, that means one of those days had to be higher than 10. Who knows how much higher? It could have been, they all could have been, for all we know. No, I would doubt that because of what the days, well, I don't know, because it was a month ago that the last election poll was taken. So who knows? But that's bad enough. If you're a Democrat, you've got to be really sweating, because that's pretty bad. And if that's not bad enough, here's the other table I was going to put up, which is so far hasn't changed. And that is I'll put it up in a moment, that would be the swing state polls. Now, the swing state polls, as we all know, most of the states are so heavily Democrat or Republican that you know how they're going to vote before you even know who the candidates are, actually, unless something extraordinary happens. So New York is blue and it's going to vote for the Democrat no matter who it is. You know that Texas is going to vote for the Republican no matter who it is, and so on down the line. But there are 7 swing states, and these swing states can go either way. And those are the ones that they watch, because we all watch, because those are the ones that will decide the election. Now, what's interesting is Ohio is no longer on that list, on this most recent list, because when I was this is, you can tell by my age, you're going back a ways, but maybe not that far. But Ohio was considered not just a swing state; it was considered a so-called bellwether state, and what that meant was, however Ohio voted, that turned out to predict what the election result for the whole country would be. If the Democrat won Ohio, the Democrat won the entire election. It was actually the other belief for a while was that the Republicans had to win Ohio. If they did not win Ohio, they could not win the election. It was all over that everybody would watch Ohio. Now they're not even on the list. I think it's pretty much a red state now. And, well, we know because it's not on the list, and I don't remember the last time they voted for a Democrat president. Maybe Obama. But now I'm going to put up the table and take a look here. And swing states are, let me get the list out here, but you can see it, you're looking at it, but the swing states: Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Nevada, Arizona, and North Carolina. And Trump is leading in every one of those states, as you can see. Every one of those states, and some of these leads are pretty significant. 7 points, I see, 6 points. I see North Carolina, 9 points. And interesting, if you're looking at this, it's not just, it's the Biden-Trump matchup, but also if you throw in all the third parties running, look at North Carolina: Trump, Biden, Kennedy, Cornel West, and Jill Stein, the Green Party. And Trump's lead actually grows to 11 points. So there you go. And that, like I said, to me, this is an earthquake if that holds. If Trump's lead is that big, then, and remember, I'm going to throw in a couple of sides here, but there is a court case going right now that the Supreme Court is going to, I mean, I haven't heard it yet, but the Supreme Court will here, but I won't go into details today. I don't want to make this too long. If you ask me to, I will in a future vlog, and maybe I will anyhow, but depending on how that case, it has to do with a lot of the January 6th defendants. That this Jack White, this pit bull special counsel, he is probably the case against Trump in Washington, D.C. For interfering with the election and blah, blah, blah. That, and he's known for this, Jack Smith. He's applying a law in a very nominal way, and it's obvious, I mean, a very, I said nominal way, a very different way, a way that it's never been applied before. Just like all these jerks trying to disqualify Trump from even being on the ballot because of the 14th Amendment, which is Section 3, which is total nonsense. All these courts are throwing it out because it doesn't. That amendment doesn't even apply to Donald Trump. I don't want to get off on that track either. The point is, depending how this case goes, if the word I was looking for, a novel application of this law, and depending how the case goes, then if these defendants, are 3 of them, prevail, and the court decides, the Supreme Court decides in their favor, that because it's a similar, they're being charged the same way Trump is, and the bottom line is, if that case, if the defendants win that case, then there will be no Trump trial on those charges in Washington, D.C., which was the one that's why Jack Smith brought this case in D.C. because Washington D.C. went 96, 95, 96% for Biden in the last election. So good luck getting a fair jury pool in Washington D.C. But that whole thing might get thrown out. And then on the other side of the aisle, the House yesterday, the day before I'm recording this, the day before you're seeing it, the House voted, all the Republicans who have the majority voted unanimously for an impeachment inquiry. So it is now official. They can now go to court to enforce all their subpoenas for witnesses and for documents. And it'll be interesting to see what Merrick Garland does, because he's been pretty aggressive. And Steve Bannon went to prison for contempt of Congress. And another one, whose name I can't remember, he was put he was arrested in public at the airport, about to get on a plane, and put in leg chains, and he was handcuffed, even though he lived right across the street. He lives right across the street from the FBI. He could just stroll across the street. And so if you're looking for a double standard in justice, this is a good chance, because Hunter Biden flat out refused to show up for his scheduled hearing yesterday, December 13th. He's in contempt. Charges are being brought against him. And let's see what Merrick Garland does. But the whole thing is, it looks like this impeachment is going forward. So imagine Trump, the charges get, that case goes away in Washington, D.C. Biden gets impeached sometime in the future. And in the meantime, and today, Trump is leading by 10 points among likely voters, according to this one poll. And again, it's only one poll. But that's my thought for today. Thanks for stopping by. If you could subscribe, that would really be great. Share this video with anyone you think would benefit from it. But most of all, come back and see me again. I will look forward to seeing all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, bye.